Hey guys, it's Rager again with another crypto market update. And as always, I want to talk about Bitcoin, but I also want to talk about a coin that is outside the top 10 overall crypto market cap that could potentially move up and become a top 3 crypto, only behind Bitcoin, only behind Ethereum. So what is that? I'll go ahead and tell you what that is, that move that could be made over the next 6 months here in a few minutes. We're also going to talk about lower cap altcoins that could potentially have some high reward. As always, you just want to balance out your portfolio, but those low cap coins can be rewarding, and if you play those right and have good risk management. Also, we'll go ahead and we'll start with why I don't think that Bitcoin has hit a top yet and what I'm looking for exactly and what you can look at too. So this is valuable information that you'll want to take notes of, and I'll drop those links as well below so that you can keep an eye on that over the next 6 months, the next year. So nothing is financial advice. Bitcoin looks good overall. We're in an uptrend here on the daily chart. I drew that uptrend. As you can see, we're breaking above 118,000 is where we drew the line as a support level. The previous range between 117 118, we want to keep above that on the mid to high time frames. As long as we can do that, we've got a nice little uptrend here. But don't be surprised if Bitcoin retests, wicks down to 117 to 116. Not a big deal as we can maintain the progression on an uptrend. So Bitcoin looks good. As we go into this week, we do know that not a lot going on until September as far as the Federal Reserve and rate cuts. But if they do cut rates, as people speculate that the market will go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, that's a good thing. It'll go crazy, be very bullish for risk on assets. But if that were to happen, I do expect it to be a sell the news event and then bounce back after that. So I do think that August, we're going to continue to uptrend overall as we get into September. Now, why do I believe that we've got a while until Bitcoin tops? If you go ahead and look, you can look on CoinGlass, and this is a great website overall, but they do have a whole list of bull market peak indicators sell the top. And I've actually used some of these in prior bull markets. And so they've been very good, especially the Pi cycle top indicator, which I think has been phenomenal. The sample size is very low. The sample size is only a couple of cycles. And if I go ahead and show you that, the Pi cycle top has been accurate. You can see these red lines. It pretty much called the exact top within 2 days over the past 3 to 4 cycles. But there's technically been about 3 cycles when it comes to Bitcoin. Called the market tops. The only issue with this, and I won't get too much into it, is as we had a double top in the last bull market, 2021, it didn't catch that next high. So there has to be a better way, and there is here in a second, and I'll show you. But overall, just showing you some of the indicators when it comes to the main indicators that people use when it comes to the overall bull market and selling the top. You're going to notice the progress range on the right-hand side, and it's going to show you that majority of these indicators are showing somewhere probably average around 60%, maybe 70%, but from what I've seen, 60 to 70%. So we're over halfway, but we're not quite there yet at the top. So, other models such as the MVRV Z-score, I'm not going to sit here and explain it. You're not here to hear technical details of how indicators work. You're just here because you want to make money. That's why I'm here too. And so knowing that these indicators can help you do that, and the really easy way to use this indicator as far as the MVRV score is one of the things that you can do is when it gets close to the pink right here, okay, you sell. That's when you sell. That's when there's a market top as it's shown over the past bull market cycles. But again, the same issue came up with the MVRV that the Pi cycle top also had when Bitcoin hit its second top in November of the last bull market in 2021. It didn't actually hit the pink. It only hit it once. So what are other good ways that you can use? Because if we're 60% there, what's another or better way? When I was studying Cena 21st Capital actually did discuss the Bitcoin quantile model. And so this is basically different. And really what it's going to show you, though, is he says, absolute right, the top is not a specific price, because so often we try to guess what's the price of Bitcoin going to be, but rather it's a deviation from the long-term trend. And now whenever that happens, that deviation happens, that's when we know that it's probably a good time to take some profit on altcoins, maybe scale out of some Bitcoin and buy back on a pullback or whatever you want to do, but a deviation above the trend. And that's really what the Bitcoin quantile model is used for. And you can go here, and I'll actually drop the link below because I want you to be able to use these tools as well. And it gives a risk score. And I can go ahead and scroll down here, and it says that whenever the risk score on the left right here, whenever the risk score is above 95 to 100, that's at a historic peak bubble. And as you can see in the past, anytime it's hit that, both times in 2021, both the first top and the second top hit the historic peak bubble above 95% on this. You can go ahead and read more about this and how it basically, it takes in price volatility, and over time, Bitcoin's less volatile, therefore your model should also include that, and that's what this also includes, unlike a lot of the other models. But as you can see, whenever we're going to hit the 95 percentile, that's on the pink, and if we were to currently hit that at the current price, that price at the high risk peak of the bubble that it's always shown in the past, as you can see prior, would be around 220,000. So potentially that is where Bitcoin could hit on the current time frame. Anywhere between 200, 220, 230K is where I'm looking at. And if for any reason over the next 6 months to a year, which I think the market will top, and I do believe that we'll get above 200K, this is a great model to use overall, and is something that I have actually researched and looked at too. So there it is, the Bitcoin quantile model. I'm not going to sit here and break down every little detail. The entire point is that we've seen that it works in the past, and that it's currently pointing at a potential high-risk top at 220,000, which that's 100,000K away, okay? So that's a long time from now. We're definitely far from that, but time-wise, we can't tell. Price-wise is what we're going to want to look at and see a deviation, and that's currently where that is at. So we'll go ahead and move on to Ethereum, which has been red hot because of all the ETH treasuries that are popping up, but ETH is leading the way. Bitcoin dominance has took a dump over the past few days, and this is since June 25th down to August today. We've seen a dump, a bounce for the Bitcoin dominance, pull back down. And so currently, dominance is down around 9 to 10%. And so as far as dominance goes, that is around the highest that we've seen. We saw around a 10% drop back in November, but that is about the highest that we've seen for Bitcoin dominance drop. I think a lot of people are asking, will Bitcoin bounce here? And I think right now, as long as Ethereum continues to be strong, as it's shown so far, I don't think you need to worry about the Bitcoin dominance bouncing anytime soon, meaning that altcoins, specifically Ethereum, your major altcoins, and one that I'll talk about in a minute that you'll want to take a look at, are probably going to be good plays as we go up into September. So I'm still in altcoins. I still hold my spot Bitcoin. Ethereum looking pretty good right now. We hit above 4,000. We hit 4,300. A nice little pullback, around 10%, not quite, a bounce and sideways. But I think as far as the treasuries, that narrative and meta is going right now, as long as that stays strong, then I think that Ethereum will continue to be a main contender, as we're seeing people already talk about price projections of 10 to 15,000 here in the coming year. So I did talk about, I think Ethereum is going to hit above $5,000 in the next 6 months. On the rate that we're going, Ethereum looks really good right now. Just keep an eye on the all-time high, which is going to be around 4,800. And if it can hit above that, I do believe we'll get a little spike below and then another push up, and that could happen here in a matter of weeks. So Ethereum looks fantastic. Solana, it's had some crazy price action. This is over the last few hours. It's just going up and down. I'm not for sure if they're just trying to shake some people out. But I want to zoom out with Solana. And as I talked about, it's been in an uptrend overall. If you go ahead and look, whether you're looking on the daily or the 4-hour, let's go to the weekly chart. Solana looks fine. I do believe that if you go and you compare Ethereum to Solana, though, Ethereum is the clear winner against Solana. It's the one that you want to be in. But Solana, there's no reason why this won't continue to trend up along with Ethereum as long as Ethereum is trending up. But it is being outperformed by Ethereum here over the past couple of weeks. And so if you're looking to make the most out of your gains, you want to be in Ethereum over Solana. Just understand that the highest upside right now is going to Ethereum. But the question that you're probably asking me, because I mentioned it earlier, was I said, look, there's a potential for one major coin that's in the top 20, not even the top 10, to move up and be maybe even in the top 3 is what rumors and speculation is going around right now. And if we look at CoinGecko, I want to go ahead and scroll down, and you're going to notice something that is here, and it's called Chainlink, which we all know about here at number 15, which is currently at around 14 billion market cap, with speculation to move up and to flip XRP at 188 billion market cap. We know that would be well above a 15x, well, about 14 to 15x or so. A big move for Chainlink. If that could happen, that would put it above 300. And I know what you're thinking, you're crazy, but let me go ahead and just break it down. Can Chainlink hit 200? Can it hit 300? What we do know is that the same playbook that we seem to be running around with a lot of the other majors are the treasuries. And so just recently, we had the Chainlink reserve. And so even on Chainlink 7 hours ago, it talks about hundreds of millions in revenues going back to buy Link, the token. And so to be a Chainlink reserve, and we've got lots of speculation. Multi-billion, trillion-dollar institutions are using it. It's consistently the most normie-friendly narrative time and time again. Link embodies that narrative more than any other token. And as you see, all the major companies that are collaborating with leading financial institutions that Chainlink is partnered or collaborating with as leading financial institutions. And you can also see other information here as far as major players that have some type of connection with Chainlink. We also know that Sergey, who is the founder of Chainlink as well, has brushed elbows with Donald Trump. And so that connection, people are speculating, is World Liberty Fi going to buy a truckload of Chainlink and really pump up the price? A lot of XRP style runs up to over $100. We even see Ansem, who are talking about, a lot of people are talking about flipping XRP. That would put Chainlink at above $300, 310 to be exact. And so that would be somewhere around a 14 to 15x at current prices. And the Chainlink reserve is a big deal. It's a real thing. Any connection with politics, any type of collaboration with major funds and players like Chainlink has, there's just a lot of speculation that this chart, and it looks good ever since the announcement. Even prior to that, there's some front running up about 25% from $16 up to as high as 22, currently around 22 right now as it's grinding up. But if you were to go ahead and go to the weekly chart, you're going to notice that I've even labeled Chainlink some major places to watch. And so anywhere on the daily to weekly, if Chainlink can pull back here to $19 to $20, have around a 10% pullback here in the coming month, if we do have a sell the news event, that is a buy for me when it comes to Chainlink. And that's something that I'm going to make sure to dollar cost average in here over the next couple of months as we go into a bullish Q4, most likely. So Chainlink, it's all-time high, $53. Can it flip that? Even $100 would be a 2x from its previous all-time high, and $300 would be a 6x of its all-time high. But that would be a 14 to 15x from here. Can it happen? I'm not going to say that it can't, because this is crypto. We have seen some of these crypto coins just have insane euphoric runs over the course of 3 to 6 months. And so I do think that there's a lot of bullish narrative when it comes to Chainlink to be a potential top 5 to top 10 overall crypto, and some may even say top 3. Chainlink is definitely one to watch that I'm certainly going to, if this can pull back here to around $19 to $20, I'm going to be here in this box. I'm going to be a buyer to continue to dollar cost average in that. I did have a request for Avalanche or AVIX. And so AVIX, again, we know that they are pretty big players when it comes to L1 blockchains. They've got a ton of money. They've been very successful, but the problem is that they're stuck down here between $16 to $27, just ranging back and forth, with the all-time highs being at 145. So with that said, can it get back to all-time highs? Because that's going to be a 6x away from the current price right now, and that would be huge. But the big thing to know about Avalanche is, can it break above $26 right here? If it can break above 26, that's going to be already a key indicator that price is going to move up higher, likely here to around $40. So a break and hold above the range of $26, I think it then will push back up to around $40. Can it break above that? Then it's probably going to go up to around 50, 55. So I would take Avalanche level by level. I do believe that they're going to need some bullish catalyst to be able to get up there. There were rumors already in the past that they had some type of collaboration with Amazon. I think that if they can rub, elbows, as I said earlier, with Chainlink and Trump, with Amazon, then I do believe that there is potential for Avalanche to do really well in the coming year. So Avalanche is one of those majors that, again, has a lot of key players involved. It's always had a professional look to it. It's just really struggled when it comes to volume. And so I think a big part of that too is because the ecosystem, they don't have as much degen trading. They don't have as much meme coins and AI stuff right now. They do have it, but most of the volume and liquidity you're going to find on Solana, you're going to find on Ethereum and on Base, and you're not going to find as much on Avalanche. So hopefully Avalanche, I've been a big supporter of Avalanche ever since they launched in 2021. I got in pretty early, did pretty good buying in, I think sub 20. Last time, wrote it up to over $100. And so that was a really good trade for me. But I do want to see it break above $26. So for you that who are Avalanche fans, who trade in the Avalanche ecosystem, keep an eye out on that level. 20 minutes already in. I want to go ahead and talk about some smaller cap coins. As always, these are higher risk. They could all go to zero. Don't be stupid. Only put in what you can afford to lose. Some of these can run. Some of these don't do very well. I've talked about some here in the last week that did phenomenal. One specific is Clippy. I talked about Clippy when it was 1 million. That was a couple of days ago here on the stream. And I said, look, Clippy, I even got in at sub, I think I said 300K on the stream, but I think I actually got in at 160 to 200. I don't have a lot. I basically put in, and I had a couple million worth of coins. And so that ended up being around, right now, I'm not quite at 100X yet, but close to it. So this needs to hit above 16 to 18, and then I'll hit 100X. I'm still holding a little bit. But Clippy, the thing is, it went viral recently on YouTube. And so apparently it's still got some froth because it is sustaining the $9 to $10 level. Do I think it's a buy here? I think if the froth can continue, this is the range that we've seen so far. You buy the lows and maybe you take some off at the highs, and you can see if it breaks above 16 to 17 million market cap, currently at around 9 to 10 million market cap. But yeah, we talked about it here. If I go to the hourly, I'll tell you exactly where we talked about it. We talked about it at this wick right here, which is pretty wild. So this wick down right here, it was around 100 to 1.5 million. Go back to the last video, and I did talk about Clippy. 10 to 15x from where we talked about it, which is a big winner if you got in. So congrats if you got in below that and saw the YouTube video and saw the hype. We do know that TikTok trends, YouTube trends, anything specifically that you think that is a trend that you haven't seen a coin be launched at, more likely there has been a coin launched, or that it's a low cap coin, only a couple hundred market cap, a couple hundred K, then that's probably a buy. That's what I'm doing. I saw it and I was like, this is really stupid. How is Clippy, a Microsoft mascot from the 90s or whatever, going to take off? And it did, right? Who am I to say what's good and what's bad? I am using Axiom Pro. If you want to use it, I'm going to drop the link below. You can actually trade using this. This is a great way to trade. If you want to use my ref link, you can do that, and I'll post that. There's a great way that you can see trending and surging coins. I'm early at things. A lot of times I like to use this. What else do we see here? Another coin that I talked about, I have a Telegram, and I talked about this at 100K market cap, and it hit a 3x from there, is Lucius. I can't say the names, but what it is, it's one of the early animation characters from the founder and creator of the Spark Dog. And so this is currently at 178K market cap. High risk, could go to zero, you could lose everything, very volatile. How many times do I have to say that? But what I want you to know is that it is Lucius, I don't know, I can't say it, the dolphin. And if I go ahead and hit Spark is at 27 million market cap. And so it's basically a meta or beta run trade of Spark, the same creator of both. And so because Spark is at 27 to 35 million, for the Dolphin coin to be only at 100K market cap, to me screams that I think it'll hit a couple of million. It could, it might not. But for me personally, when I'm trading things and I'm trying to get a beta to a runner, I look at really good narratives. And I think even the Dolphin could have been earlier creation than Spark, than this dog. And so he even talks about the Dolphin and all kinds of crazy Dejan stuff about the Dolphin, and he used to work at SeaWorld, and it's a conspiracy, and just crazy memeable stuff. And it's just out there, which the more something's out there, the crazier it is, the funnier it is, and usually the higher it goes up. So we don't also have any other Dolphin tokens that are doing well, so that's why I bought that. So you can check that out. Lucius, man, I wish I could just pronounce things. I wish I wasn't so backwoods growing up. I wish I had an education. But the Dolphin token here, currently 178K. We'll see what it does. Other tokens that I talked about, let me tell you the one that didn't do too well. And maybe I'm the dummy here because PG-13, but one called Retard on Base. And maybe it's because of Base, but my whole thesis behind it was because the team of AIXBT, the 100 to 200 million market cap coin that's on Binance, that's AI, it's super popular, also created this, from my knowledge, from what I can see. So same involvement, but this one has not to take off. The volume it's okay. It's 100 to 160K, but I bought around 800K. And so I am down. I think I put around $4,000 in. Don't quote me there. But my $4,000 is now like $1,200. You lose some, you win some, but when I trade things, I'm going to win more than I lose. You just have to manage risk appropriately. I probably overdid it here. I saw this big pump to 1 million, and then it pulled back, and I was like, and it started to pull up again. I was like, oh, I think this is a winner. I think this is going to be a good coin. And so I bought in, and I thought my good thesis behind it, because a lot of times who's involved is a big deal, and thinking that they had some power to be able to shill this and push this up. And so that's my thinking, and maybe it bounces from here, and maybe it goes to zero. I would love to see my money come back. I'm not going to dollar cost average down here because I'm already too exposed. That's a part of risk management as well. If you're already overexposed, don't just continue to dollar cost average into something. If I wasn't exposed and I heard about this 200K market cap, I could put $200 to $300 in right here and have a million tokens, which is, it's not bad. There it is, one that didn't work out so well, but I'm gonna own it because I do like to trade and I've been very successful. And then sometimes I lose, man. And that everybody loses, by the way. If they tell you that they don't, they're liars, because most of the time people just like to tell you what trades they do well on. I'm down a couple $1,000s on retard here, as dumb as that sounds. And on Clippy, wherever that went, I'm up $20,000, 25,000 or whatever it is, whatever it ends up being. That's fantastic. So we'll see. As far as the next coin goes, somebody asked me to talk about Gomu. Now, Gomu, not a lot of volume here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. It's not showing up. But Gomu, basically, not a lot of volume. I want to go ahead and zoom out. But it's been on a slight uptrend over the last few days. But the thing about this token, okay, not saying that this cannot go back up. It hit 4 million, 5 million. It needs to break above 500K and keep it. So again, not a lot of volume here. I don't hold it. Somebody asked me to talk about it, Gomu. And as far as Gomu, the Gator goes, we don't have a lot of Gator tokens, which maybe that takes off. But you can't really get much worse than this. Now, it's currently at 400. It's bottomed out at around 100K market cap. It's close to the bottom here. And if you're the person holding Gomu, just have some hope here, because there is a slight uptrend, and really it just comes down to narrative. I want to go ahead and show some love and talk about that. As far as some other things, let's see here. I was looking at this one earlier, Investor. It's not doing so well. I'm not going to say much about it because I don't know much about it. I bought a little bit and it's dumped on me. Hey man, it happens from time to time. So maybe this will be the bottom and it'll shoot back up. But yeah, or maybe it just totally rugs. We'll see. Just a Little Guy. I had some people ask me about Just a Little Guy, and I checked it out. And basically, I do this chart. I don't have any. Just an uptrend, man. Just an uptrend. That's what you want when it comes to these lower caps. This is $7.2 million of volume, a good volume in there, a break above 3 million. This is off to the races to probably 4 to 5 million. So look at that, pumping as we speak right here as people hear me talking. Great volume, like I said, for it, but I want to see it. This is basically compressing up. And we laugh about these patterns of compressing in these triangles, but when it comes to these smaller cap tokens, it's basically what people look at. Everybody trades on these. They trade at price levels and horizontals, and they trade compressions. And based on that, a lot of times coins can actually do quite well. And that's why you want to look at this. But the compression is showing that eventually we're going to have probably a breakout to the upside, because there is a nice hold here at 1.8 million. And it is currently at 2.8 million. As long as it can hold this uptrend, break above 3. It is cool that this founder created a wearable digital pet like the Tamagotchi stuff back in the 90s, digital pets. And he raised $1.2 million to create this, which I honestly think, like, I've seen garbage crypto projects raise way more than that, which it's sad when people make cool stuff like this, that they can only raise $1 to $2 million, when yet these crypto companies are raising $10 to $20 million from complete crap, and they don't put anything out, when something like this is actually pretty cool and could be really fun. Like I said, I don't own this. I don't have the token, but the product looks really fun, and the uptrend actually looks really good. That's Little Guy. And so we'll see what happens. I'll look more into that. Let's see if we see anything else. Wojak, I round tripped 100K. I held it around a million market cap, held it up to 10 million, and it came back down. And the big thing was, like, a lot of the troll holders or whales were actually holding Wojak as a major supply, and they actually sold it towards the bottom, which is really weird behavior. Anytime you see any type of or bigger wallet of a token hold something, you would think that they would sell, and they would be because of a pullback at, say, 8 to 10 million for Wojak. But they didn't start selling until 2 to 3 million market cap. And so I actually looked at the wallets. And so they sold the bottom. For me, I actually got out at a round trip there. And again, that's why it's always important to take profits. But I did talk about Wojak. I was very positive about it. So I always want to put my money where my mouth is. When I talk about something, I like to hold something and not just talk about it and dump it and then move on. With Wojak, when it comes to the token, there's multiple tokens of Wojak. And that's the unfortunate thing, because I would love to see less PvP, less player versus player, less community against community, project against project. Nobody ever wins like that. And that's the problem that we're having right now with crypto, is that people are recycling and trying to relaunch older coins. Now, Wojak, it wasn't already established prior to this. It had an old token on pump anyway, sub 1 million. But I think anytime you have multiple of any coin, it's not going to do well. It's probably good to go and move on to something else. And that's what I'm doing with this. Wojak deserves to be a top 10 meme coin. It deserves to be 100 million market cap and to be on major exchanges, because it is a crypto culture icon. It's been around since Doge and Pepe. So love Wojak. We'll continue to support it if you hold it. I think it's a great overall culture coin. But PvP, man, like that's the one thing that you have to watch out for. I hope for the best with these guys, and hopefully they can come together and maybe figure out the best way of, they're both near 1 million market cap. And to me, there's too much competition there, and the upside's capped when that happens. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I love Wojak. I support people who hold it. But overall, I'm currently not holding it. And that's specifically the reason why, even though I've been so high on it. But it's good to break that down. The only other thing I want to break down here are bonk fund tokens. And I told you already that you want to be looking at these, because I think that these are close to bottoming out. And so when I told you about that, a lot of these were already a lower market cap. Meme coin, I think, was 7 to 8 million. It's at 9 now. Not that it's that much higher. I know that Meow was at 1.5 million market cap, I believe. There's also Icon, wherever Icon is at. That is also another one that has potential to run up as well. That's been lower. That's pulled back quite a bit. So a lot of these have high potential to keep moving up when it comes to these bonk fund tokens. And so I do believe here in the next couple of weeks, we could see a run back, a bottoming out of these bonk fund tokens and to push back up. I told you about that days ago. I'm going to continue to tell you this right now, that anytime you see a major pullback on specific narrative like this, that's not going to die. We know that bonk fund is a very strong ecosystem. They have the money to buy back tokens. They have the money to buy and burn bonk, and they have the money to support exchange listings of these tokens. They have the money to really back these. And so, yeah, I think it's fine. I think bonk is a great ecosystem. I continue to support it, as I said before. And I think that you'll see quite a few of these run a lot higher in the coming weeks. And it's just breaking it down for you. Go to bonk fund, check those out. Again, nothing's financial advice. Do your own research. Do what you want. But I've been successful, and I'm going to tell you what I think when it comes to the market overall. But Chainlink, keep an eye on Chainlink, because it is hot right now with the Chainlink narrative potential to be here in the top 5 to top 10 overall market cap, maybe even top 3. That would be $300 Chainlink. That would be beautiful, by the way, because I would love to hit a 10x on that trade, on that investment. Bitcoin as well, want to see it hold above 118. And what do you know? Just shaking people out left and right as it pulled back there here on the weekend. Now it's pumping as we go, hopefully, into the weekly close, much higher this week. That's what we want to see. But that's it for me today. You guys make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube. What coins are you watching? Are you pumped about Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Chainlink? I want to hear from you. With that said, guys, been a great time. But you guys trade safe. Have a great rest of your day. And I will see you on the next one.